Hold on a second. I thought this series was on Plants vs Zombies too. Wait, so why am I now in Fortnite Season 8? To be honest, I don't really know. I must be lost or something. Well, at least I've been found now because it is about time. But anyways, ignoring my upload schedule, welcome back to part 5 of my series where I tried to beat all of Plants vs Zombies 2 using only fruits. Which finally means you lot can all enjoy the sheer amount of chaos that follows in this video. During the 2 weeks where I was off on holiday, I've actually done a lot of off-camera grinding. This means that before day 1 even starts, we unlock 2 new fruits. The brand new Dragon Brute and the previously seen Soda Tomato. To be honest, they weren't that difficult to unlock. I only had to play 100 games of Arena, but regardless, it was definitely worth the effort. The Soda Tomato is probably the best plant we have, allowing us to actually farm sun. And the Dragon Brute is pretty busted, I can't lie, so he's going to be making appearances all throughout the rest of this series. With that being said, days 1 and 2 were swept easily with the help of our new fruits, as well as this video's world gimmick. These pre-placed tiles allow us to get extra sun by putting our fruits on top of them, which is pretty boring, but it is always helpful to have extra sun, especially in a challenge like this. On day 3 we had our first conveyor belt level, and we were actually able to beat it using only fruits, because this world's gemium plant is luckily the lava guava. On day 4 we encountered these shovel zombies, who can be easily countered by our kiwi beast and other lobbing plants. They're more of a nuisance than anything, because they sometimes throw our plants backwards, making them be easily eaten. But other than that, day 4 was pretty standard. Day 5 was another conveyor belt level, but we do actually run into a new plant, the key, or more formally known as the autonomous catapulting ejectomatic emitter. Also, that design is amazing, I just love his smile. But the best thing about the key is he's actually based on a fruit that I can't pronounce the name of and looks a bit like Shy Guy, so I'll gladly add him to the team. He's also great for dealing with those shovel zombies from earlier, which means, at least for this world, he's going to be one of the MVPs. Day 6 probably has the coldest formation of fruits set up so far in this series, but even better, we unlock the key. Day 7 not only sees the return of the electric current, but also a new umbrella zombie. She's able to block damage from all lobbing plants, but again, this zombie is no match for my kiwi beasts. On day 8 we weren't allowed to pick our fruits, and were forced to use a new plant because the Aki couldn't handle the umbrella zombies. However, on the plus side, during day 9 we endeavorously discover the Endurian, the 4th new fruit of this video, and I know he looks and acts like a nut, but trust me, I've actually eaten a durian before, and fair play to the designers at PopCap, because they managed to perfectly recreate that fruit's traits into their game. Day 10 was another fairly basic level, which was easily beaten by the newly unlocked squad of fruits. And yet again, we actually unlocked the fruit the day after it was introduced. On day 11 we run into these pretty fast and tanky bug zombies, but luckily they can be easily beaten with the Dragon Brute. However, I think day 12 marks the biggest difficulty spike in the whole series by far. I'm pretty sure this is the first ever level I failed on wave 1. Not only do we have to deal with 3 gargantuas, but also to produce 5,000 sun. But honestly, I think the biggest struggle in this level was mainly my fault. Now, if I wanted to, I could just bring overpowered premium plants into every level and sweep them easily. However, I'm not going to do that because I'm actually trying to make some good content. But when I picked it so that none of my fruits could do damage to the umbrella zombie, trust me, it made this level a lot more difficult. Anyways, we managed to get the timings down and move on to day 13. Of course, another conveyor belt level, but at least this one had the melon pult in it. On day 14, we weren't allowed to pick our plants, but luckily the game gives us 2 fruits to use, which is great for us because the lava guava can kill any zombies that the Aki can't. Days 15 and 16 served as some quite nice and well-deserved breaks, as they consisted of a piss-easy protection level with a final wave looking like this, and a lackluster conveyor belt level. And the same could also be said for day 17, but we do discover a new type of imp, which is pretty cool, I guess. Jesus Christ, I've had my break now. Can I actually just play a difficult level for once? Speaking of, day 19 was actually pretty hard, but only because this zombie just phased through my plants. But other than that, it was pretty manageable, probably because the excessive amount of sun tiles were extremely helpful and the main reason I was able to get my rows of fruits down. Day 20 had a setup of sun tiles that I think were designed with the electric current in mind. Imagine you're a zombie and you see this, like what the f are you meant to do? On day 21 we weren't allowed to pick our plants, but run into the toadstool, an animal based plant. Now what I think about it, that could actually make a good series. Let me know what you guys think about that down in the comments. Yet again, we weren't allowed to pick our plants on day 22, but we're introduced to a new world gimmick. Like, I'm not quite sure why they've added it so late on in this world. But regardless, we beat the level and move on to day 23, that for some reason has a gargantua on the first wave. Now, this level was pretty difficult, mainly because of the sheer amount of zombies. But I don't know who at EA are designing these levels, because the first wave is the most difficult for some reason. Days 24 and 25 fall victim of the same pattern, both being way too short and getting easily swept by kiwi beasts and melons. To be honest, the same can be said for day 26, just minus the melons. Also, I'm not sure why, but I kept using this dragon kiwi setup. Can you blame me though? It is just so overpowered. But the only other interesting thing that happened on day 26 was that we run into this skull zombie, who's going to be a massive issue later on in the video. And here we are, later on in the video. It's day 27, and what a surprise, the skull zombie is back. Now, what this old wanker does is use his anime powers to just obliterate our plants. And yeah, sure, he can be taken out pretty easily with long range plants, but my main damage dealer can only hit enemies 2 tiles in front of him. And I don't really have any cheap long range plants either, so yeah, he is a pretty big threat, but as always, nothing a literal bomb can't handle. Day 28 was another one of these gimmick levels, and although they're very fun, they are just too easy. Day 29 was a really difficult level, consisting of 2 gargantuas and a bunch of other difficult zombies. However, the Aki is just too good in this world, as well as some help from my kiwi beasts and a lawnmower. We managed to swiftly beat this level. Woof, okay, now we're in the end game, we need to lock in, because these final 3 levels are all extremely difficult, even including the zombie boss battle. On day 30, the most important third of the field is taken up by these moss colonies, leading us to just spam kiwi beasts and pray for the best. For this level, I didn't really have a tactic, it was mainly RNG based, but I was luckily able to beat it after a couple of attempts. On day 31, we only had access to the Aki and Endurian, leaving us with no easy option to get rid of any umbrella zombies. Oh, and what a surprise, a whole fucking column of them just appear out of nowhere. I think for the first time ever of me playing Plants vs Zombies, I had to actually stall out of the wave so the lawnmowers would get more value. But we managed to barely squeak past, with the Endurian pulling his weight and actually coming in clutch this time. Now, I probably spent around 6 hours trying to beat this world, and I'm not even joking, half of that time was used up on days 31 and 32. But at least I was able to defeat Zomboss using only fruits. I think as far as worlds go, Lost City probably has to be one of, if not my favourite world up until now. The world gimmicks were fun, the new zombies were interesting, but most importantly, we unlocked 4 brand new fruits. From what I'm aware of at least, the Lost City seems to be one of the more disliked worlds in the PvZ2 community. But even from a neutral's perspective, I think this world was balanced and challenging at the same time. In fact, I swapped around my fruits more than any other video I've done. When I finish this series, I'll give my opinions and rank the worlds from worst to best, and maybe the fruits as well. Or I could just make that its own separate video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And finally, I just wanted to thank you all again for being so supportive. I know I've been gone for a while, and for the most part, no one seems to care that much, but your supportive comments do really mean a lot, and starting from now, I'm going to try my best to respond to all of them. But before you go, could you please check the subscribe button? I know I say this every video, but it does really help me out a lot if you just click that button. Plus, you get notified whenever I upload, and who wouldn't want that? Okay, that was a rhetorical question, don't answer. Right, now that I've hit the 8-minute mark and I can play more ads, that's all from me. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and watch all my previous videos if you haven't already. See ya!